When we were young, life was a game, and every adventure. We laughed, and we fought, and sometimes we cried. We were sometimes punished, too. But there was an enchantment and a magic, and the world was full of limitless possibilities. But for Michael, it is different. For Michael, everything is strangely difficult. For Michael is a psychotic child who is suffering from a gross mental disturbance. Like Ivan, he comes every day of the week to this nursery. Here, for a few hours, trained people will try and help these children, while their parents can discuss their own problems with another psychiatric worker.
Come on, Susan, hang up your coat. Hang up your coat, darling. Put it on the peg. That's right.
Susan trying to hang up her coat. That's something she's learned to do. Very simple, perhaps, but it was only a little while ago that the doctor's verdict on Susan was hopeless. Ah, to know what Michael's thinking, so remote in his secret world. And Joan, little Joan, eating chalk. It doesn't seem to matter to her, she's so far away. Like Carol, banging, mindless in a place of fantasy she cannot tell us about. It is a world full of confusion, where nothing seems to make sense. For Michael, though, there is a certain release and contentment in the steady rhythm of running up and down. Like Joan on her rocking horse, backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. Somehow it is very soothing. But always, it is a world of their own. There is no awareness of those around them. It is a world without human contact. For the psychotherapist, it is a job needing great patience. For somehow she must try and make contact with the children. This is the important thing. No matter how small, no matter how unorthodox the way, to try and get a response from the children is the beginning of it all.
You want to puff puff? You want to puff puff? I'm not going to give you...
Ivan is 9 now, and he cannot talk. But he can hum. He sometimes hums the basic melody of a Beethoven symphony. Ivan is a sensitive child, in the way he handles things, in the way he hates unpleasant sounds as much as he loves pleasant ones. Poor Ivan, you look so worried. And how can you tell them to stop? Joan may not be able to talk either, but she knows when somebody likes her. It's then she feels secure and happy. For these children are very affectionate and above all need affection. The psychotherapist knows, too, that you can have as much knowledge of psychology and of these children as you like. But if you don't love them, you might as well abandon any hope of helping them. Susan knows how to drive her car now. She is learning how to use things. But for Carol, for her, this is all as yet impossible. For Carol is only occasionally making contact with things around her. But then, how would you have found it, Susan, outside, playing with children who find it all so easy? Would you have retreated, like Carol, into a shell? It all takes so long to learn things, and when Joan experiments with new ways of riding her rocking horse, it's progress. I remember when he first was silent and surly he was. He never laughed. For Jeremy lived with a nightmare. His mother was a sick woman, and 2 years ago he was with her when she killed herself. Now, although Jeremy may not be a normal child, he is at least a happy child. Every so often, Susan is given a standard intelligence test. This helps to give some idea as to if she's improving or not. How often, at moments like this, there seems so little difference between Susan and a normal child. How surprising, too, are the differences in ability between each of them. A puzzle for Michael is as easy as that. Yet Michael cannot speak a word, only make a shrill, shrieking sound. But for Susan, who can talk more than anybody, she just doesn't seem to make any sense of it at all. And Jeremy? Well, Jeremy, too, has his way of approaching things. And although we may be reluctant to accept it, it is being allowed to give vent to his feelings that has helped him along this far. Yes, how different they all are. Ivan blowing bubbles, so carefully, so delicately, and watching with a passive fascination as they sink to the ground. Jeremy, aggressive and impetuous, seeing how many he can burst before they hit the floor. Ah, yes, we all dance, and then we all fall down. This game always seems to end like that. But just for a moment, we were doing things together, enjoying ourselves. And there was a contact between us. That was what mattered. Like learning to share things and doing things with each other. It wasn't always like that with Joan. At one time there would have been tears and tantrums and a sort of terror at losing her old rocking horse. Supposing Susan had been born 30 years ago and her parents had been poor. What sort of treatment would there have been for her then? Now we have a national health service, It still has many shortcomings, but with so much new knowledge and so many new methods, perhaps we will really be able to help. And in this room is a part of the whole process. Learning to understand the children and their ways, and helping them to learn, at least with their handicap, how to be happy.
Jeremy.
Spoon. Take spoon. No, you have no spoon. Eat up. No.
Perhaps Jeremy will never be a normal child. Perhaps none of these children will, although many like them do become well. But for Carol in her isolation, and Joan and her rocking horse, for Ivan humming his Beethoven, and Susan washing her little pig, Jeremy planning his next bit of mischief, and Michael, beautiful Michael, who cannot talk. How will it be for them outside the security of this room? Will they find people who have time for them and who care?